and I'll be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in the grave. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in the grave. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in the grave. And I'll be home with my Lord. And I'll be free. Yes. Well, thank y'all for joining me and clapping and such like that. The truth be told, I've been walking by myself so long that I forget what it's like to have other folk around. So it was mighty nice for y'all to do that and such. And it's nice out here today than it has been, ain't it, sir? And such like that. Not as warm as it's been. Now the rain come on down, and that's just as bad sometimes and such. You know what I'm talking about, sir. You know, we ain't got nothing to cover your head and such. But at least it ain't been as hot as it has been. You know, sometimes it's been so hot, sure enough, you can put down an egg and it right there, and it'll crack right on open. A chick come out in about 5 minutes or such like that. You know that. So it's been hot and such. But sorry, I don't come around here. It's just good to see folk. I don't get to see them so much and such. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm supposed to do that now. My name is Betsy Costner. I have a last name now. You see, when the Freedmen's Bureau come after the war between the states, they sat down, they took took things from us, and they said, well, what's your name? I said, my name is Betsy. They said, well, what's your last name? I said, I ain't got no last name. They said, well, you got to have a last name. In order to be a citizen, you got to have a last name. I said, well, can I think about it? Can I think on it? He said, yes. I said, all right. Well, I go home and I think on it. I knew I wasn't going to give myself the last name of my last master because he was an evil, cruel man. I didn't want nothing to do with him. But I thought on it a bit, and I thought about my first master who bought me and my mama and such, and he was a kindly fella and such. So I gave myself his last name. His last name be Costner. It come from another country somewhere and such like that. So I got the last name now and such. And folks supposed to call me Mrs. Costner. Ain't that pretty? Y'all got last names? You do? Oh, yes, fine. What be your last name, ma'am? Resh. Oh, that's all right. It mean anything, ma'am?
No, but it rhymes with fresh, but you can't pronounce it.
Oh, that's cute. Okay. Yes, that's it. That was nice. Freshy Resh. Yeah, Freshy Resh. Yeah, like that. That's nice. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. That's good. And folks is giving themselves all kinds of last names, I'm learning, even like yours and such. But most folks I know, they giving themselves last names like what they done, you understand? The people that was a gardener, their last name was Gardner. People carpenter, their last name Carpenter. People Sawyer, they was a Sawyer working with the wood and sawing the wood. They get last names. So you understand what I'm saying? And Smith and such, Goldsmith and Meadowsmith and such like that. And then some folks give themselves big last names. There's some folks give themselves last name of Washington. Or he was the first president, y'all. I learned that. Or they give themselves last name Jefferson. He the one that wrote all men are created equal. He meant women too, though. So don't worry about that. And then a whole lot of folk giving themselves the last name of Lincoln. For what he do for us and such like that. And so folks giving themselves large last name. Even a couple of folk last name be General. You know why? Mr. General. They like stuff like that. And so it's nice to have a last name and such like that. And you got a last name, sir?
Cole.
Cole. We got some Coles down in Alabama. You got family down in Alabama, sir? Or you must have, because you got some Coles down there and such like that too. And such. That'd be cold with the E, right? Not cold like you ain't hot. Is that right? All right, just making sure now. I got to make sure. That'd been strange if you named yourself Cold. That just don't make no sense. And so, but I'm sorry. I thinks about that being all new to me and such. But I didn't come around here to talk about no last name. I meet Mistress Costner. She be around here. She say, I tell her what I was looking for, and she say, I come to a group of folk that might be around town and be from a bit, and y'all could ask you if you might have seen him. I'm looking for my son. His name is Peter. If he be about 15 years old now. If you like his daddy, he'd be a little darker skinned than me. If he also like his daddy, he'd be a little taller than me right now. But I know he got a scar right here. Scar right there. You see, he used to like to climb all the time. He was always climbing on things. And one day he climbed and he fall right off. You all know how you boys are and such like that. They fall right off. And he cut himself real deep and the blood just come on out and such like that. One of the old women, she take the spider web that you always leave over in the corner of your ceiling there, and she takes some down and she pack it on in there, and it stopped the bleeding right away. And then not only that, it healed it up real good, but ain't no hair gonna grow there, so you always got that right there. So you know what I'm talking about, don't you, ma'am? And so she nodding her head. You got any of that on YouTube, ma'am? But you know what I'm talking about, don't you? It worked real good too. And folks say they need to sew things up. All you need to do is have yourself a little bit of cobweb sitting on the side of your house. You be all right. You won't have to worry about a whole lot and such. But that be my son. His name is Peter. And I just want to know if y'all seen my son. Anybody? You can talk to me. I don't mind. Have you seen him? You all from Virginia? Folk in Virginia talk usually and such like that. I ain't used to this, y'all. So I ask again. I won't take it no hard if you ain't seen him, but have you seen my son? No. That's all right. I wouldn't mind if you just keep your eyes open for him, if you wouldn't mind. And if you come across him, if you might let Mistress Costner know, she sent a telegram to me and let me know right away. If you wouldn't mind, wouldn't mind. Y'all mind if I set my feet for a little while? I've been walking for quite a while. Y'all mind if I sit with you a minute? I ain't rushing to get in no rain, and sure enough, I ain't rushing to get no heat no more. That feel mighty good. Oh, yes. Well, since y'all's quiet and, I don't get to be around folk much. Well, some folk been asking me about my life and such like that, and I don't mind telling them and such. If we just sitting here, I could tell you a little bit about me. That all right? All right. I don't mind talking. Well, I was born in Alexandria, right here in Virginia. I don't remember none of that, but I was born. My mama, I was born in Alexandria in what they call the slave pen. That's what they call it, the slave pen. Just like there'd be pens for pigs, that's what they had. And I was born there. My mama had me there. And, Alexandria be one of the largest of the slave pens they has over here on this what they call the Tidewater area or the East Coast here and such. And my brothers was with me, and they's older than me, of course. And my daddy was there too, but he was sold before I was born and such. So I knowed him and such. And my mama was bought, and my brothers and I was bought by Master Costner, trying to say it right now. And he's a kindly fella and such. And he take us down to his home being Gastonia, North Carolina. Now, I know you don't know nothing about no Gastonia, North Carolina, a little bit of something like that ain't on the map, ain't hardly find it and such. But if y'all know about Charlotte in North Carolina, some folk call it the Queen City and such, well, it'd be right down by Charlotte and such like that. And well, down there in Gastonia, we grow tobacco. Yes, indeed, grow good tobacco too. And I was good at tobacco. I was strong in tobacco. I was a strong woman when it come to tobacco. I'm look at you, sir. You, sir, right there. You, sir, stand up right there. You're the one turning around looking at everybody. Yes, you, stand up right there. Yeah. I take about 2 of you down. You ain't even strong enough to go down one time. Sit on down. You ain't got nothing. Yeah, my brothers was big men, and I laid them down. I knew all about tobacco. I was strong and I helped them with the tobacco and such like that. And I'm mighty proud of it too. But as y'all may well know, tobacco start not having the profit it had before, because folk weren't buying like they was before and such. And so Master started having to look at other things he would sell. He didn't want to start with his folk or nothing like that, his peoples. And so first he sells some of his land, and then he sells some of his livestock, and then he even sells some of his things. But then soon enough he had to start selling some of his peoples and such. And I remember that time real well, because that was the time that I come together with Isaac. Isaac was a pretty man. Y'all ladies know what I'm talking about. He was a pretty man. He was so pretty when he come outside, whoop, the sun would hide her face. He come outside and all the birds sing the same song. Lord have mercy. He was pretty, and his eyes was all full of me. And my eyes was all full of him too. And we come together and such. There are lots of ways folks come together. Some folks, they take a broom or a stick that they fashion to a broom or such like that, decorate, and they jump over it together and such. And then other folks, the man take his blanket and he lay it beside the blanket of the woman, and their blankets are never to come apart. Or like us, we all gathered, and the oldest one in the quarter, she decided we come together. And she was a woman from the West Indies. She don't speak like some of the times we speak. Sometimes you can't understand her, but you understand her real good when she throws something at you. You understand? And such. And she gathered everybody around, and she have us there, and she said, "Idu, these two, be husband and wife, be husband and wife. Any trouble, speak now. Any trouble, speak now." Ain't nobody say nothing. Then she put our hands together and she say, "Idu, why?" And we come together. I was 17 when we gets married. And I remember, because my mama, she said, "You's a woman now. You takes care of your husband. You're 17 now." We hadn't been married long for the speculators come. The speculators were the men that come, and they come to buy the slaves over in Maryland and Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and they take the slaves on further down south and further over where they growing cotton and sugar cane and such like that, and even tobacco, but further out over in Kentucky and Arkansas and Tennessee and such. And the speculators come, and I remember how we was in the field when the speculators come our way. I see them coming, and I goes over and gets real close to Isaac, and I gets close to him because he has a little limp, and folks think that he ain't strong because of that, but I know he's as strong as any man. But I stands close so I can hide him, because I know they're going to look at able body, they're going to choose me. And so the speculators come and they point us out, you, me. But not Isaac. They take my hands and the hands of the ladies, and they tie us one to the other, and then tie us to the back of the wagon. They take the children and put them inside the wagon. They take the men, they tie their hands one to the other and put coffles around their feet so they can't run. And then we start walking. I didn't get to say goodbye to my mama, and by that time, my two younger sisters, I didn't turn around to say goodbye to Isaac. My brothers, they was with me, so I didn't cry. But we walked, and we walked, and we walked, and we walked, and we walked so long, after a while, I couldn't even feel my feet. We walk over them Cherokee Mountains down in Tennessee, and that's where they sold my mama, my mama, my brother, my oldest brother. I was there watching as they set him on that block, there. And sir, could I have your help here, sir? Would you come down here to me, sir? I want to show a little bit about my brother. Would that be all right by you, sir? Oh, that'd be fine. What be your name, sir?
Reggie.
Reggie.
Gore last name.
Gore is your last name?
South Carolina.
Oh, Lord. Well, yes, sir. I come through South Carolina once or twice and such like that. Yeah. Fine to have you here, sir. And so I want you to stand forward and such. You smells pretty, too, by the way. Yes. It's been that time of the month for the baths and such, ain't it? Yes, I understand. And that's been good. Your wife been doing good for you and such. But I was going to show what happened to my brother up there on the block. Would that be all right by you, sir? Yeah. All right, so you standing good. And they put my brother up on the block and staging where they had him. And they put him up in front of all them folk, men and women. And he stood there with no clothes on. I ain't going to do that to you, though, sir. All right? Hands to your side, sir. Hands to your side, indeed. And then they come up on that stage and they begin to look him over. And they take the hand and they put the hand all through his hair to see if he got any lice or his hair loose from disease. They take their hands and they go all up and down him like this to see if there are any broken bones. Turn around. Then they come and they take their hands and go, both men and women, and they go up and down him and they touch him all over, even in the places that be private and such. Turn around. And then they tell him things to do to make sure he can hear real good. Raise your hand. Put it down. Raise your leg. This one's going to be trouble. Yes, and then they come up to him and open your mouth. They take their finger and put it through his mouth to see if anything, the gums is bad or the tooth is bad. Close your mouth. And he stood there. How'd that make you feel, Mr. Gore?
Good.
I'm certain, by the way, the tenor of your voice, that is how my brother felt too. I watched him up there. I watched him begin to shake because he was so angry and so ashamed that he could do nothing. Thank you for letting me show about my brother, sir. Give him some approbation. And we left my brother there, but I still didn't cry. I had my other brother with me. And we went on down, and right before we crossed the Alabama line, that's where they sold my other brother. And that's when I started crying. I cried so much. I didn't think I was ever going to stop. But then they sold me right across the Alabama line. And I remembered where my brother was. So I determined in my mind that as soon as I can, I'm going to run back and go find my brother. And we's going to run. And we's going to run somewhere. But ain't going to be there. But first I got to do what I got to do there. And I gets on that plantation. And they right proper take me over to the field. They put a bag around me, drop all the way down to the ground. They take me out to the field and they say, pick that. There ain't no tobacco. It's cotton. I ain't never picked cotton before. Cotton plants go up to this tall or this tall, depending on what the weather be. And the cotton, it comes in a bowl like this or like that. And when the cotton ready, it pops open like this. And around the little edges right there, just be little prickers, not hard, but after a while, the prickers get to you. And you got to go in and take that out and puts it in your bag. And he drops it. He goes all the way down. And there'll be rows and rows and rows and rows of cotton. Look like snow in June, August. And I went down that first row. And at the end of it, my hands, they was bloody. An old woman next to me, she take off the bottom part of her skirt and she wrap it around my hand. She said, keep going, baby. And I does. But I don't fill up my bag that day. And they let me know about it. And I don't fill up my bag the next day. And they let me know about it. But from then on, I filled that bag up and much more. But all I was waiting for was Saturday. They say down there you didn't have to work all the day on Saturday. They let the afternoon be for folk to visit and such like that. They get to visit other parts of the plantation, and sometimes the plantation close by, so not very far, but you get to see your family there. And some folks, they works in their own little garden that they done themselves and such like that. And they try to trade themselves or their skill for some money they own and such like that. And I wasn't doing all that. I was just waiting for twilight. Come twilight, I start to run. I'll go find my brother. But they catch me and they bring me back and they whip me. And the next Saturday I run and they catch me and they bring me back and they whip me. And the next Saturday I run again and they catch me and they bring me back. And they whipped me. But this time, they put salt in my back. And it hurt so much that I goes to sleep. And I sleeps for 3 days. And when I awakes, they had taken me to another part of Alabama, far down. And I stopped running. It won't all bad. No, it won't. That's where I met Henry. Henry's wife had been sold away, and he didn't expect to see her again. And I know I was never going to see Isaac again. So we comes together. Now, we won't try and do nothing wrong. Now, sir, don't look at me like that. We won't try and do nothing against a good book here and such like that. You understand, don't you, sir? I never expect to see nobody again. You understand that, don't you, sir? And so we comes together, husband and wife. And we has 5 children. 2 of them died early on. My oldest daughter, she was so taken by the master and given away to his daughter as a wedding gift and such. And she go and live in the county. I get to see her every now and then. That'd be all right. Then my other daughter, my middle daughter, she was sold to a new doctor that come to town. You understand? New doctor. So I get to see her a good bit and such. And then there was my son. Oh, he was something. It was like Henry just spit that child out. He looked just like him. And, he crawled over everything and such like that. And Henry didn't mind. He didn't like when the girls did it. But when you men know what you like with them boys and such like that, you don't mind. They crawl all over you and such like that. And that's how he was. And he crawled over everything. And you see, we work from can't see to can't see. Y'all understand what I say when I say that? Some folk don't. You want me to explain it? Can't see. We begin work when you can't see nothing, and we end work when you can't see nothing. Mm-hmm. So we work from can't see to can't see. You understand that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought you. Yes. But we work from can't see to can't see. We leave the children, unless they suckling and such like that, we leave the children over in the nursery. And that's what we call the nursery. And the older ladies be there, take care of the children and raise them a little bit. And they take some of the young girls, about your age. How old you be, youngin'? Yeah, about your age, yes, indeed. Some of them, and they works with them and such like that. And so in the evening, sometimes I would go back to the quarters and begin dinner, and Henry, he go pick up Peter, and sometimes I go pick up Peter, and Henry, he go back and start the dinner and such like that, and that'd be fine. But on this night, I went to go pick up Peter, and Henry went back to the quarter, and I'm getting close to where the nursery is, where the nursery be, and before I get there, old woman come out, and she say, "Go on home now." And I said, "No, ma'am, I come to get my son." And she say, "Go home now." "No, ma'am, I come to get my son." And she say, "Go home now." I don't mean to hurt her or nothing, but I pushed that old woman out the way, and I run into where the nursery is, and I say, "Peter, Peter, Peter, baby, Peter's your mama. Come here, baby. Come here, Peter. Where are you, baby? Come here, Peter. Where are you?" And I don't hear nothing. I don't hear nothing, so I go back to the woman, and I say, "Where's my son?" And she say, "That master have been gambling all night long, and he got in a world of debt. And he come, after I go to the field, he come and he take my son, and he give my son away to some stranger man. He didn't let me take my son and whisper in his ear that he loved. He didn't let me take a part of my apron and tear it off and put it in his hand so he would know that he had peoples. He took my son." And I ran to the big house, and I started calling him out. And Henry, he hear what happened. He tried to stop me, and I move him out the way. And I run up there, and I call Master out, and he come out because he know he wrong. He know he wrong. And I look at him, and I say, "Never again! Never again! Never again will you take something from this body and make it yours. Never again." He should have whipped me. He could have killed me. But I didn't care. He took my son. He took my son. Oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to share all that with you. I must be been walking too long by myself. And I'm sorry. That was 10 years ago, and Peter was 5. Sometimes, though, it feels like yesterday. And a lot happened in those 10 years. Y'all know we had a war between the states, and y'all here in Virginia, you didn't win. And that's good. There you go. And I remember when they had the war beginning, but before the war even get good, that President Lincoln, he put out that Emancipation Proclamation. Y'all remember hear about that? And such, and it got into the paper finally down in Alabama, and the mistress, she gathered everybody from where we was and gathered us all together down below her steps, and she read it to us. I don't know what was wrong with her, but she read it to us, and we read it, and then we understand after some time, after getting through those words and such like that we's free. Well, we weren't going to do no more work that whole day. We dance and sing and drink a little bit and such like that and such. And we had a good time. But the next day we got up and went back to the field. We didn't know what else to do. We didn't know what freedom meant. So we just worked. That's what we did. But then they start calling up for the Confederate soldiers. And Master, he go with his 3 sons as quick as he could. And they send Master on back. Probably, they say he'd be better on the home front. Probably couldn't fit in that uniform. Big old fat belly sitting out there looking like nothing and such like that. But his sons, one of them died. One of them, we don't know where he gone. The other one, he come back, but he touched in the mind. You understand what I say? He touched in the mind. And he stayed there on the plantation. Even now, he takes care of him such. That's what old Judge say to do. Judge, he be the oldest slave on the whole quarter and such like that. He was a young man when Master was a baby. When, not the young Master, but when old Master was a baby and such like that. So he the oldest one there. And he said, we're going to take care of him. Right, that'd be the right thing to do. And so we does. And they was all nervous and such when the Union soldiers was thinking about making their way down and such. And all Master and Mistress and all them folk around town would tell us things about them Union soldiers. Ooh, watch out for them Union soldiers. Ooh, they gonna kill your men. They gonna ravish your women, and they gonna they're gonna eat your children. And we're like, not as bad as you though. You know, that's all we could say. We wasn't right worried about it or nothing like that. And then Master, he get all the word here in the Union coming not too far. He get all his pretty things, his silver and such like that, fine linen, pack it into a nice trunk. And he and old Judge go down to near the old swamp and such like that. And they bury it down in that near area. And Master say, now don't tell him nothing about this, Judge. And Judge say, yes, sir, I won't tell him nothing. Well, them Union soldiers come and Master gone over to some hills far down as he could be, away from all that and such. And the men come up, the Union men, they say, you got anything we can use to sell? Judge don't say a word. He just walk them down to that swamp right there. He dig it up for them. And then he come back later on, he say, I didn't say a word. I didn't say a word. But then we saw them Negro soldiers, colored soldiers. Oh, they look so fine and they're blue with their buttons down the front. And they didn't really look like that. Them boys looked about as tired or ragged as you could possibly have. Some of them didn't even have as much shoe on their foot as I got on mine. And such like that. And just holes inside of them. Some hard, they look so tired, but to us they look strong. Little boys was marching in after them and such. They sat with us that night. They sat with us. And they told us about freedom. These were men who ain't never had no lash on their back. These were men who ain't never been called nobody's property. And they told us about freedom. They told us how up north you can work and people pay you money for that. Money. You hear that? Money. For the work you does. Ain't that good? Yes, and they talk about how folks can go and they learn and how they can choose. They can make a choice. That's what freedom means. It means you can choose. And so we started thinking, because Master didn't seem to be coming back. We take the land. Judge said we're going to divide the land between each of us families. And everybody worked their land, but then we put it all together, and then we get the money for it from the cotton gin, from the man who take care of that, the manager there, and we divide the money up from each other so we can learn. We works together. You understand what I say? And we works together. And then the Freedmen's Bureau come and, folks, before even the Freedmen's Bureau get there, folks, first thing they do is start looking for their family. Because isn't that what you would do? Find your family, man? Wouldn't you do that? And so my daughter, you remember the one that was given as a wedding gift? Well, she has come to find me, and she married, and I got 2 grandbabies. I'm a grandma now. And then the other one, you remember the other one? The one who was sold to the doctor in town, you remember the one I talked about? Come to find out, that there doctor was one of them abolitionists. He was part of that thing they called the Underground Railroad, helping folks get the freedom. She told me that. I looked at her and said, then why didn't you come get me? She said, well, Mama, we couldn't come real quick else people get real, real suspicious like and such. And then by the time we gets ready, well, the war done started and Master got down out of there. And then that Master, well, He freed my daughter, and he sent her to Oberlin College so she could be a teacher. And when the freedmen build the school, we got a school now. My daughter is the teacher. Sometimes that's good. But she teaches the youngins. You see, we don't let the youngins no more come to the field. No, sir. You're about your age, you can't come to no field no more. We making sure that you's going to learn something. You's going to learn something. So us older folks stay out there. We worked hard and such. But we want to make sure you can do something good. Besides working the field, you can choose what you want to do. And in the evening, us grown folk go in there learning. And I'm learning how to read, and I'm learning how to write. I can write my name. You want to see it? All right. Betsy. B. That be right? All right, got to tell me now. All right. E. T is easy. It's a cross. S is snake. Y is two horns on a bull. That'd be my name. Oh, that'd be kind of you. I know it don't really mean much to y'all folk. I'm saying most of y'all right. But for me, it means I ain't got to make no mark. I has a name as a citizen. And now I ain't a slave. I'm doing something I never done before. I dream now. I have a dream that one day I'm going to be able to read real good. And I'm going to be in a place that has books from the floor to the ceiling. I went in a room like that as I've been traveling. They call it a library. And that room, and I want to be in a room like that. And I want to read the books, all of them. And I want to just read. And I want to know things. I want to know what you know. But I can dream now, and I can choose. Lord knows. I've been walking too long. Well, I expect I need... Miss Cottrell said, now give folk a chance to ask you questions if you talk to them, because they's curious. So y'all might be curious. All right.